VigilanteWilliamson here with a question, comment, thoughts on the quote unquote greatest of all time conversation. I probably have done a video on this before, but like, this conversation is disingenuous. And I know it is. I know y'all know, but I just have to say it, man. Who cares at this point? Shit. That's one statement to make. But even beyond that, like, it cannot feel good. It cannot feel good to constantly focus, as a man, have to focus on another man and either focus on their downfall and what makes them lesser than, and have to, bide and criticize or whatever the fuck, or exalt. And that doesn't mean you cannot have conversation about, I like sports, is why I'm covering it, right? So you can have conversations about certain sports related concepts. I also understand that sports it's entertainment. It's not all as presented, right? And a lot of life is not all as presented. That's why I'm probably gonna do a conspiracy stream, and probably by the time you've heard this video, that stream will already have been done. But in any event, it's okay to have conversations about sports. It's okay to have opinions. It's okay to defend those opinions. It's okay to exchange ideas. What's not okay is human worship, and human worship in reverse, i.e. you hate certain individual. That can go for a lot of things. Politics, for one. I hate this person. Well, you're giving them energy by that hate too. But this human worship era has to stop. Listen, I made a video criticizing the Bronny situation. He's an athlete. There's certainly a lot to criticize in Bronny James, and not just Bronny James. Honestly, I was talking to shout out to Richard, and I've seen videos about this, and I'm not the first one to say this, and I can't think of any of the names right now because stream brain, even though I'm recording. The league itself is getting mighty nepotistic. We're seeing, there was a video about how it's not as hood as it once was. And I'll get back to the GOAT conversation, but humor me on this tangent. And it was really talking about, or it's not, you don't see as many poor people getting into the NBA. It's become a little bit more of a prep league, a prep school league, AAU league, usually former players' sons or maybe former athletes and another discipline, i.e. a LeVar Ball who played football for the Jets. He gets his kids in the NBA. Like, it requires a certain amount of money to make the NBA, where you're not going to see as many Iversons, Lamar Odoms, and etc. ad infinitum, Derrick Roses, guys who just come from the struggle, who just play their way in, do high school ball, and then go on to college ball. Now you're seeing guys come up from the suburbs. A lot was made about Ja Morant in the league. So what I'm saying is, yes, Bronny is to be criticized, and we'll get back to this GOAT conversation. Yes, Bronny is to be criticized. Okay, he does not deserve to be in the NBA. I made a video about it. Even though that's the case, even though LeBron James deserves to be criticized, that's the case, there does have to be a certain amount of tact about, like, man, you have such a thing about LeBron versus Jordan, which is a stupid argument. It's stupid because who cares? Who cares? Joe Dumars is better than both of them. Suck my dick. Why? Because he's my favorite. We care more about favorites anyway. But you care so much about LeBron versus Jordan that you're attacking a man and his family. Again, it deserves to be criticized, and it's of a bigger issue than just Bronny James. Of what the league has become, going back to the entertainment stuff I talked about earlier. The league, the circle, and it was already an exclusive league, right? There's only so many players who are going to make the NBA. It's a very exclusive league inherently, but it's even more exclusive from who the talent pool who will actually be picked from than it has been. It's excluding the poors, essentially. You know what I'm saying? That's become an element of the league, and it's a very nepotistic league, and it's a very connected league anyway. Yes, this is the worst example of that, but it's not the only one. There were other I almost cussed. Trying to stay clean for YouTube. There were other individuals in that draft that you look at their numbers and you say, what? How is this person drafted into the NBA? There's a problem with talent evaluation, and then there's an agenda with talent evaluation. People are getting into the league who are more connected than people who ball. You know what I mean? Even Jamal Crawford talked about some of the political things that happened with him. And you say, how can somebody who led the league in fourth quarter scoring not even be, considered as much as he was, and to have some of the scoring performance he had even in his last few years, it's like you would think he could still provide a team some offense, at least longer than what they allowed him to. So there is a politics things in the league, and it probably is not new. So even when you talk about these GOAT conversations, going back to that, there's a political thing, not right versus left, even though sometimes that gets invoked, but political in terms of who they want you to think the GOAT is, who they don't. You used to hear Julius Erving's name a lot more in this GOAT conversation. You don't, because the ABA is considered apostasy. The people who actually saw the ABA consider it an equivalent and if not superior league to the NBA. It wasn't around that long, but it included a lot of great players, a lot of great teams. And those legacies have just been washed out with the annals of time. I'm old enough to remember not necessarily that, but people who had saw that and remember their opinions and their feedback regarding the quote-unquote greatest of all time. And Julius Erving's name was a lot more a part of that because of his ABA accomplishments along with his NBA accomplishments. And no one even thinks to put him in the top 10 anymore. It just shows how much things have changed. And the conversation is always going to be static, right? It's always going to be, or not static, it's always going to be dynamic. Static Shock. Shout out to Richie. It's always going to be a dynamic conversation. Things are always going to change. The game evolves, changes, gets better, gets worse. I just gave up the talent issue. Yeah, it was a tangent, but it's still relevant to it because it's just showing things change. The league is not always going to be the same. And so it's really impossible to grade who's the greatest of all time anyway. And to do so in such a demeaning way or such a insidious way because you like one player or not, it is shameful to see how people have treated all of these players. LeBron, I brought LeBron and Bronny. Some of the coverage is absolutely fair. Even the jokes, obviously that comes with it. But some people, you're like, damn, every day you're going to post about some negative. Every day you're going to post about another man negatively all the time. That's all you do on your channel. That's all you do all the time, every time. That's not good, man. You know what I'm saying? That's not good. You got to get yourself right. You know what I'm saying? And there's that fanboyism. You got to get yourself right. There are too many people who are just like obsessed. And that goes for Bron and Jordan. That's why I said Joe Dumars Pistons, bitch. Fuck you both. Shit. Favorites matter anyway. I can go back to that. That's another tangent. We already went 8 minutes. I don't want this video to go too much longer. Maybe a few. That fanboyism got to stop. Shit, Wilt Chamberlain's the GOAT. Why? Because the events of his career are now considered conspiracy theory. We believe Babe Ruth stats in baseball more than we believe Wilt Chamberlain stats. There are people now who don't believe he scored 100 points in a game. There's an audio recording of it. And then when you bring up Wilt's athleticism, how do you know? There's fucking tape of it, man. There are records of this shit. It's just fake. It just didn't happen because I didn't see it. Again, Babe Ruth, his statistics, all the statistics, before regular television, obviously a lot of baseball got televised, but all these statistics, they still count. Even though we don't have all the games, we don't have all the tape on all the games that Ted Williams, all these guys play, but those statistics, they still count. Shit, we don't even question other basketball statistics. We're cool. Oscar Robertson averaged a triple-double before, and then if you average out his first 5 seasons, it's a triple-double. And we don't say, yeah, maybe. Elgin barely got all these scoring records. Okay. But Wilt Chamberlain, nope. It's a conspiracy theory. The earth is flat. Martians landed on Earth. That's what it's like. And I guess you're not supposed to say flat Earth. Whatever. It's a fucking expression. Fuck off. It's a conspiracy theory. That's how good Wilt Chamberlain was. That's how good he was. And so that's who my GOAT actually is. But I don't care to argue it so much that I'm going to demean LeBron James or Michael Jordan or Kobe Bryant or Shaquille O'Neal or Kareem Abdul-Jabbar or Larry Bird or Magic Johnson or Julius Erving or Steph Curry or Kevin Durant or whoever the fuck. You know what I'm saying? Or who your favorite is. A lot of people favorite is Paul George. Let it be their fucking favorite. Let it be that, people use the term GOAT. I don't know why. It's just a term. It'll be antiquated at some point. But we use the term GOAT so fucking often. Some people's favorite player is Paul George. Just like some people's favorite player was Kobe Bryant or Allen Iverson or Jordan or LeBron or Shaq. Whoever your favorite player is okay. That's what we care more about anyway. But shout out to Nick Wrong. And there's a tangent to go on. We got to end this video soon. But fucking hiring all these guys, LeBron James, that shit backfired so bad. It backfired so bad. He would not have so much smoke to him being the greatest of all time if not for these Clutch Sports affiliated individuals. As entertaining as Shannon Sharpe has been, if not for all that shit, it wouldn't be so much backlash on LeBron. But that's another can of worms in and of itself. I've rambled enough. I think I had a point. I don't know if I closed every tangent. I tried to close them all. This was very tangential. But in general, don't be a fanboy. Like who you like. Your favorite can be your favorite. The GOAT conversation ain't important. I don't give a fuck about the GOAT. I don't really care. LeBron James is not going to make any payments on my rent. Michael Jordan is not going to invest anything in my name. Fuck them both. Suck my dick. I hope the Pistons can win 30 games this year. I'll talk to you guys later. Peace.